All right. Well, this is a weird thing. Hello, all. This is the All Black Everything, which we have Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for being here. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe, and consider becoming a YouTube member. If you like having this content on a consistent basis all the time, then be so kind, help us out, and hit that join button, become a member, and support the channel that way. Okay. I'm going to introduce all of these amazing individuals, right? And Wiggles here too. And so I'll go from there. We'll start with Black American Made, right? Because of course, bam, all right.
What's up, people?
Did you warm yourself up with the talk we just had, right? Like, are you ready to drop your terrible takes, right? Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm telling you, I'm about to put some learning on y'all. Everybody knows, like, hey, everybody in the chat, put a P if y'all pushing P out here in these streets.
What?
Pushing P?
We pushing P. We pushing P.
Your girlfriend also didn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, come on, guys.
That's what we doing now. Exactly. But yeah, no, you know my stuff by now. Look at that. We got some P's in the chat. I see them coming through.
Yeah.
Oh my!
We're about to go
East
crazy.
Coast, right? What is it?
What is that?
brother.
No, what is it? What is a P? What is...
You're not pushing
You don't
P.
know.
That's all you need to know.
You
You're
don't
not.
know.
You're not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'm pushing L letters, right? Big D's. But moving on.
Hey, yo.
Okay, Django. Look at him, his hand on his face. He's like immediately going, "Why the fuck did I come back here again?" Django, thanks for not listening to your better angels. All right. So Django, thanks for being around.
Yeah, I had to clean up a bunch of stuff just to join because I didn't want it to look messy, and it's not worth it. But
It's not.
thanks for having me. That's all.
Thank you. Right. And see, like, look at Django. Bam! Look at Django right there. Right. This man has beautiful African hair, right? And he's not
I can't
ashamed
even
of
wear
it.
a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Look at you.
got a little
Talking
mark
about good
right
hair.
Baseball was rough. Let me tell you, that shit did not go well.
You look like Colin Kaepernick.
I do what I can.
Oh, take that. He looks like a successful black man. Yeah, exactly that. I dig it. All right, moving on. You look like a bum. Moving on. Let's go to Jay Cook. Jay Cook also rocking the beautiful African hair. All right, love to see it, Jay Cook. Jay Cook, how are you doing?
I just looked up pushing P in Urban Dictionary.
Holy shit!
And, there's a lot of definitions, you guys.
All of them are
A
correct.
lot. Wow. I'm doing so well. I love being here. This is my favorite time. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I'm on vacation. I went to Arizona. And I came back and I was like, ugh, New York. When is it gonna get hot?
I love how Jay Cook is apologizing for having a life, right? Like, outside of this, amazing, right? No, you
I
actually
like being here.
you let yourself out of the cage for a moment. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen what's out there for like 2 years, so I don't know.
Whoa.
But Jacob, thanks for coming back from like your superstar whirlwind, jet setting lifestyle. To be with us. All right. Now we got Joe Lewis. Look at Joe Lewis, right? Joe Lewis also look beautiful, black hair. Look at him, right? A fine specimen, right? Never ashamed, right? He is loud with
later or
it.
something. Oh. I mean, how you not know about? How you know? I'm so confused. Nobody knows about pushing P. Like,
It seems common enough. I didn't think we'd have the Urban Dictionary,
They're not
but
pushing it. They're not P.
I don't know, man.
That's all you need to
Portuguese
know.
on her knees. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Mopping down the P.
Fuck out of here, yo. SpongeBob ass for a dude.
She let me squeeze, then she leave because she keep it P.
stop.
I
No,
can keep going, but
going.
anyway.
Keep going.
No, I'm good.
Please
All
do. Please
intros.
do.
I'm good. Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. You know, We're here in the private seat. Private seat. Bitch, I'm pushing P. All right, I'm done. I'm good.
No, seriously, what is
Shout
it?
out
I
to
don't
Future.
know. What is this? Can you
It's
explain?
funny though
Banger.
when you don't.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
it
it's
is.
a song. Oh, it's a song. Okay.
I mean, it's a song.
But it's also a lifestyle, really.
The actual way. That's what's
Funny.
getting.
Lifestyle.
All right, now we gotta. I guess we gotta pause the content. All right, so I'll Urban Dictionary this shit too.
Oh, can I?
You're either
Wait,
doing
can
it or
can I
you're just
share?
not, you
Wait.
know?
Okay, so can I share it? Can I share it? Can I share
Yeah.
It? All right, I got you. Hold on. This is the only version that matters.
Bro,
Okay.
don't put that SpongeBob
I'll put it in. I'll DM to you.
Okay. All right.
It's stream safe too. It's totally stream safe.
Okay.
It'll get the people. It'll get the people. I'll put it in AB chat. It'll get the blood flowing. You know.
Okay. Oh, what the?
I'll
Right,
play-
push
I'll
it.
play my stream
Okay. Do you think this will be so by stream safety mean
We'll get sniped. I play it all the time.
all right, here we go. I'm gonna play this shit. Hold on. All right. Okay, play. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for that. That was 30 seconds. We'll move forward from there. All right. Yeah, I'll link. I'll put the link in chat, guys. I'll put the link in chat for you. Okay. Copy link and paste. There you go. So next, we we got Top Dolphin. Top Dolphin, right? Another person ashamed of his heritage. Top Dolphin.
Ashamed of his heritage. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just wear a hat because I'm lazy with my hair. I haven't had a haircut in like a year or 2 years.
Own
It's
it,
been a
bro.
while. All right,
Make it
so
who you
we
are.
cover this shit up because we're ashamed.
Damn.
Live it up.
Anything else to say other than like
Anything else?
Just
to say?
shaming
you wish
yourself?
you didn't have black heritage?
Yeah, just shaming myself. You know, I
Think
have
with the
no.
boxes
I
in
can
the
say I
back.
have no idea how much African I am. I've never had one of those tests done. So, maybe one day I'll do it. I don't know. I don't really care.
Top Dolphin, you're the exact right kind of African, right? Exact right amount. all
You're
right?
like the
Maybe
black
that's right
Tim
about.
Pool. Look at
Yeah,
that.
you know, as long as I don't know, I can just say I'm 100% black, and then all of you guys get fucked, right? Bam, only 98%, not pure enough, all right?
All my black went to my dick. All right, so moving on. Let's
Happy
go
for
to.
My black went to my ass, if that helps. But that's all I got.
Okay. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right. So we have one other person who'll be joining us in a bit. Hopefully they'll be here soon. But yeah, we'll get started. Topic 1. An employee at a Dunkin' Donuts fatally punched a man who called him the N-word. Before the incident, the customer came into the establishment, started saying the racial slur, then was specifically asked to stop. The customer did not, and was then assaulted. Is it ever warranted to physically attack someone just for saying the N-word? Is it the same? Is it time to say that once and for all, violence should be condemned, no matter what bad word someone uses against you? So, all right. Oh shit! Wiggle.
Okay.
No, you got forgot on purpose. He
We were
forgot.
doing completely
I
fine.
did not do that on purpose. I did do it on purpose.
It's okay, man. Like, it's understandable. Like, you know, I'm just a black male. So, like, what's my importance in society?
You're the man who needs no introduction.
Yeah, you know. I'm
didn't
used
even
to it.
mention
It's
his
okay.
hair,
Like,
you know?
I know you wouldn't have done this if I was like, you know, the Fabian or like Destiny or even like what are some of the other people? Not so erudite or any of those people. Like, but if it's Wiggle or Joe Lewis, Django, Black Men, maybe yeah.
Well,
Cool for that.
that's the end of that. Moving on. Black American Made. Opening statement.
Like there's like a logical answers. Like obviously, someone saying words to you doesn't morally justify like being like physically violent against them. That's the logical answer that I want to get out the way. In reality, like your results may vary on this. I cannot guarantee you. You say the wrong thing to the wrong person, especially this word that everyone knows about. It's not like this person didn't know what was like this was a possibility. Um, what's this? What's the words the kids say now? F around and find out. I think this is what this was a perfect case study of that. But yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Moving on to Jay Cook. Oh, I mean, I meant to say Django.
Yeah.
Another black
both
male
Jays.
forgotten, you know? Like, it's
No,
a
you keep
pattern.
going,
Yeah, when this first happened, I was like, cool, happy for him. But then he got charged, and I was like, that's fucked up. But like, the more I think about it, I think it's probably not a good thing if we just, I don't know. I'm okay with people at least accepting like, oh hey, like this person in this situation was left, came back, was told to leave again, didn't leave, said it, repeated it after the guy said, don't say it again. And they took that into account. I think, what did he get? 200 hours of community service, and 2 years of house arrest, which is not fun. But I think I've known people who have been put in jail for similar things of like someone talking shit to them and they hit them in the face and kill them. And you can get put in jail for that. And that didn't happen. So I'm okay with the result generally because even though it was fucked up, it would be weird if we just kind of allowed people just to get punched in the face over stuff like this. I'm not sad for the guy though. I mean, he did fuck around and find out, and it's kind of whatever. But it's probably not a good probably not a good standard we should have.
Bro, he fucked around, didn't find out. Kept fucking around, didn't find out. And then he fucked around
That's
a little
true.
too close, and then the Lord found him. This man didn't know he fucked up until he was at the pearly gates, and they declined him. They're like, "You did what? Where?" Let's just say the community was already serviced. All right.
Wow. Okay. All right. We have Death of Certainty. Our man Wick was so kind as to rate us with 91 individuals. Real awfully kind of you. Thanks for doing that. Just very quickly. Hello, everyone. My name is Prime. Maybe you'll know me. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But we do these panels. Right now, we're doing a closed panel. Our All Black Everything Roundtable, which we have Thursdays every week, right? And we are talking about a incident that happened at a Dunkin' Donuts. If you're here in the States, it's like a place where you get donuts. I guess it's pretty simple. Anyway, there was a customer who came in, and was saying the N-word, right, to a black employee, and they were asked to stop. They didn't stop. The employee punched him, and then accidentally killed him. And so we're discussing that right now, whether it's ever right for people to use the or use the N-word as an excuse to commit violence, right? Where the black people should knock that shit off, right? So that's our topic. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hit that follow button in case you haven't done so already. Hit that follow button, make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. All right, we'll go to Jay Cook. We're doing opening statements now. Jay Cook.
Great open. I agree that saying the N-word is not, like, saying any word really is not a warranted, the action to doing that is not a physically attacking someone. However, this person was, after reading the article, getting more and more threatening. Like the threat level, I think, in this situation kind of increased, right? He was in the drive-thru first, like Django said, and then he parked and then got out of his car and then went in the place. Like that's sketch. That's like I would be afraid for my life. But I'm trying to read your second question because I'm not sure about it. But something I kind of want to play devil's advocate here, if everyone else is going to agree that it's not warranted. I'm going to say it is warranted based on Prime, what you just said. So you said that, like, you said essentially that saying the N-word has been used violent. You said something around that,
Used
like
as an
it's been
excuse
used
for
violent.
violence.
Yes, used as an excuse for violence, right? So I think, oh my gosh, why am I saying this? Okay. Whew. I'm
'Cause you
gonna
believe it.
say I'm gonna say it is warranted because that word has been because it has been used as an excuse for violence, right? Like if that is the only way that people can change their behavior is by acts of violence, then I think it's warranted.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll go to Top Dolphin next, and we'll go around in a circle. Top Dolphin, please.
Yeah. At first, I was gonna come on here and be like, you know what, that's like really stupid, and he shouldn't like killing people is wrong, and I was just gonna be stupid and talk like that. Yeah, I think like calling someone the N-word is not warrant for like violence or killing people. However, like in this specific case, like doesn't seem like the guy intended. It seemed like he was trying to defend himself. Like everybody knows if you've ever worked at like a food service type place, once someone like walks past the counter like aggressively, like those people are really fucking crazy, and like I probably would have hit him too. And the fact that he hit him once and then like the guy kind of died like really sucks. But like the guy was like being really aggressive, and I think it's fair to say that like he didn't intend to kill him and stuff like that. So I think like the punishment's probably warranted. I guess what I would say is like you should never kill someone because they say words. My dad always told me sticks and stones might break my bones, and words never hurt you. I don't necessarily agree with that always. However, I don't think words are like usually a justification to hit people. But he didn't hit this guy because he was saying the N-word like everyone says. Hit this guy because this guy was irate, fucking crazy, and like walking behind the counter at a Dunkin' Donuts.
Let's go to Joe Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna condemn nor condone what he did. I will say that like I understand when somebody, especially a white person, in a moment of frustration, calls a black man the N-word, and then like why someone would react like that. So like I'm not gonna condemn or condone it, but that's really all I got.
Wiggle, please.
All right. This person was a piece of shit. We all, if you've ever had jobs like this, you know what a piece of shit's like. It's like your job already fucking sucks. You're already like thinking about when you're going home. The second second you come into work, and then you're like, oh, on the scale of how bad this customer, you already have scales of how bad customers can be, and this person is already getting up there. You're like, oh my, they're like talking shit over like the drive-through. This person's already fucking annoying, and then they've given up on them. They're like, leave. And like, we're not serving you. That's a big deal. It's like they want your money and they tell you not serving you. Then this person leaves, and then they're like, they're not leaving, and there's definitely going to be an internal discussion of, oh, this person's not leaving. What's going on here? Then they come out and they come in, and everybody's in that store is going like, oh no, like the person's coming out of the car and they're coming in, like what's happening? And everyone's trying to shuffle behind the manager or the strongest people, the strongest voices. The non-confrontational people are like, there's about to be a confrontation and I don't like this job that much. And then, this person comes in and then they're like, they say that shit. Like once they see you physically and they're in this place and they're threatening you, they start saying that racist shit. And that person looked at them, was like, you're that's the vibe. Is at this point, we said we're not serving you. You're in this location. We've called somebody. You're threatening us. You're threatening the staff. The manager's not doing something. The other people are not doing something. I'm here. I'm the person acting in defense of this crazy person that's inside this establishment. And then they step up and they deck this person. They neutralize this person. And then that old piece of shit ended up dying. Did that person think that the person's gonna die? No. But that's what ended up happening. And then that person got punished for doing so. Because in this day and age, if you're an employee, you just have to take shit. That's what we tell them. No matter how, brave, free, whatever they say about America, once you're an employee, you're paid to take shit. They want you to stand there and get yelled at. They want you to be called the N-word. All those things. Wait till the police come. Because that's your job. You're an employee. You take shit from old people who come in there and can say whatever they want to you. And you can't do anything. Because as long as you have that badge, as long as you're here, as long as you need to put food on your table, you're just going to be a little bitch. A little slave. Somebody that's going to be there and is going to have to listen to that customer, say whatever they want to you, and put your life at risk, say all that stuff, and take it. And even if that customer punched them, and they punched that person back, they would still lose their job. They would still, maybe legally they'd be in a better situation, but they'd still lose their job.
All right. Well, this is open to the panel, but like, I guess I disagree with some of y'all. I think that if a person comes behind the counter, right, in this retail store, then they are like, they're dangerous, right? Like, I'd agree with that.
Real
right?
quick, he didn't come behind the counter. The guy who punched him went around the counter. No, am I crazy? Did I read that?
I
wrong?
don't
Person
remember
came
that
into
part of
the
the story either. But which one? So someone else said it was the opposite.
Arguing,
Maybe I
he
was
walked
wrong.
around the corner and told him not to say that again. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, then
Oh wait, okay, I totally.
This
read that
individual
wrong.
was told that they're not going to serve them, and then they stopped in the driveway, or like the drive. There's like a parking area. From there, they got out of their vehicle and they came into the establishment, and then they just started to berate the workers. And then the individual who was inside went to personally talk to them. So no, this person didn't like go into the back and
Okay.
start like an altercation.
okay, that's what I thought. All right, fine.
Okay, yeah, I read that was my bad. I read that wrong.
No
I read the
problem.
name.
Well, that makes it even worse. So they weren't a
Yeah, for
direct
sure.
threat, and they just were saying awful things, like granted awful things. Like, I don't understand why you all think like a punch is literally the only thing that could have been done here, right? So let's say he was being more physically threatening. You could have removed him, right? You could have like literally pushed him out of the store, right? You didn't actually have to like a close fist punch to this guy's face or wherever. He wasn't actually being physically threatening as far as we know. And so I just don't see why it had to result in violence, right? Like, you call the police, they come, they handle that shit, right? And just be done. It seems like to me from the story that I read is the attendant or whatever, right? He escalated it, right? He decided, I'm going to confront this guy personally. I'm going to handle it. And then if he escalated and he hit him in the face.
How did he escalate when the first person to be like aggressive was the customer in the drive?
No, he did.
And then
he was the first person.
Because
you don't have to- you
because
don't have to be the first
verbal
person to
is
be
different than physical.
Yeah.
That's escalation.
So then, what do you think happens when they say we're not serving you, leave, and then you walk into the door? Like, you're trespassing. You're not supposed to even be in the building. Like they said, we're not
Is
serving
that his
you.
job to
Yeah, but
remove him?
these are all lower derivatives of physical violence. It's all lower. So it's escalation once you punch him in the face. The problem is that you're like,
If I told you to get out of my, like, if I had a mom and pop store and I said I'm not serving you, and then you called on the phone and then you physically show up at my store and open the door and come inside, like, that's just nothing. That's just like,
I never said nothing. I said it's less than physical violence. That's not even like a.
it is less than physical violence, but what does it call for?
It depends on what you're kicking them out for. If you're kicking them out for berating you by words, again, like, it's still more to punch them in the face.
I mean,
They probably told him to
About
get the
the
fuck out
threat.
before they
It's about
punched
the
him in the
level of
face.
threat.
If that is true, if they're threatening you, by the way, that would be different as well. But as far as I know, that wasn't happening. But it could
Oh,
be.
I mean, like, can we do the thing that they do to black people and bring up the fact that the man that he punched and died was a sex offender? Can we do that here? Is it appropriate? Because he was a sex offender. So in a lot of ways, like,
I don't know if
The word
anyone's
was.
gonna-
Now all he
Well,
is
actually,
is
I
like,
wouldn't. I don't think I would defend
he's,
that take. But
he's
I mean-
air. He's soil.
he's in the ground. It's unfortunate, but I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
That's not something you would know, though.
Yeah,
I mean, the
that's,
dudes found
that's
out.
the obvious. But
Dudes
people
found
use it
out.
all the time. Yeah,
They didn't
they'll
know.
be like,
They didn't
this
know.
person,
They didn't know like ex black person was an offender.
or yeah,
ex black
or
person
had
was a
criminal
criminal.
charge, like anything. Yeah, they'll say that a lot of the time. But I mean, we could pretend that we're gonna say that, but I don't think anybody here would say that. If
I
that
mean,
helps.
I did. He was a sex offender.
Oh, okay, that's cool. It doesn't mean he deserves to be punched in the face, I guess.
I mean, he said the N word twice.
Yeah,
I mean, like if
that's
you mess with
unrelated to
pussy,
the
you get
sex
fucked,
offender
right?
thing.
What's that?
It's different from the sex offender thing.
I think that
How's it
something
Drake,
that's
I guess.
way more. Hold on a second. I think that like a more pressing way to address this is it's where like at least to at Prime's point is he isn't at like I'm not saying that the guy who got punched deserved to die or even necessarily deserved to be punched. I'm putting the responsibility I'm putting the responsibility like I think people have a responsibility for the things they say though. And I'm saying that like if you were putting yourself if you put yourself in a situation where you feel like you can say whatever you want to someone without potential ramification. And we're talking about a private citizen. You know, if this was a police officer, I would hold them to a different standard. But like if I know I can't go and say anything to another private citizen without any expectation of physical repercussions. Like that would be irresponsible on my part. And I think that was the irresponsible part. Like it doesn't mean I deserve it, but it's absolutely like I have to take some culpability in that.
I think 100% the responsibility is on the company and the individual who walked into the store. And once again, the worker is the person that's getting blamed. Like the worker's in the position where no matter what action they took, they're the one that has to deal with the harm. Whether they let this person yell at them, say the N-word, etc., and leave, then what are they going to get? They're not going to get a raise. They're not going to get a pat on the back. They're not going to get a sticker. All that they're going to get is they had a day in which someone came in there, said the N-word to them, gave them a terrible time, and it's continued. Or like they took this action. The business, what's stopping them from hiring security that can properly handle this, training the employees for a situation like this and paying them for the training? Instead, what happens is an untrained individual is put in this situation, acts like an untrained individual, and then has to deal with all the consequences. When the corporation, obviously, they have customers that come in here, they have no way of dealing with the customer that they say, we're not serving you. They have no way of stopping them to just walking into the store and preventing them from coming in. They have nothing they can do, and they just leave it up for the workers to deal with and blame the workers no matter what happens for the instance. And watch, if this whole situation turned out swimmingly, the company would have been like, that's how we train our workers. You know, like we train our workers to deal with this stuff. It would be a PR campaign. It's like, that's what happens when you come to shit fits, you know? Like we deal with customers, even the worst customers we deal with well.
No.
And it's like it's the problem of the corporation
I
and the
makes
individual.
sense if he didn't
you
literally
are
walk at the
making-
guy and hit him in the face.
You are making
Like,
me defend like corporations, which is fucking disgusting, right? I'm like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
am.
That's the worst fucking thing. But no, like,
I mean,
what do you mean that there was no other option, right? There was no other way of doing this. First of all, you could call the police, right? You start with that.
They
You
did
could
call the
They
police.
did.
They did.
Yeah, it's
They-
great. And you wait
you
for the
could
police.
wait for the police.
And you wait for the
show up
police
in
to
the
come.
counter.
No, but it's literally not your job to be removing people from these things. We specifically have a law enforcement force for these situations, right? Because if you leave it up to individuals, people might die. Right? Oh, well, the police might kill you too, to be fair. But then that's their business, right?
Yeah, you don't want the worker doing this.
Yeah, you don't want the work they're dealing with. You don't
Yeah, so
want,
get
you
the
don't
security.
want
You don't
that
wanna put
guy.
that
What
on
if that
them
guy
as well.
actually did have a weapon, right? He wasn't going to escalate to physical violence, but then the moment you physically confront him, he does, and this guy gets shot, right? This is exactly the type of stuff.
even
This
greater
is-
because
Yeah,
he's
and
a
then have security so that the security makes sure that person
means one of the
never
employee
comes
got
into the
shot.
store.
yeah. I mean, if we load the context, he was a sex offender, so he wasn't going to have a weapon. If he has a weapon as a registered sex offender, then he's literally the dumbest motherfucker on the planet going to Dunkin' Donuts trying to get donuts with a weapon in there, dumb fuck. And at the same time, like you need to have managers for that situation. If I had one of my employees talking to some 75-year-old dusty ass old fuck, I'd be like, yo, bro, get in the back. I'm gonna deal with him. I'm gonna say you're gonna leave, or we'll make you leave. There's a lot of like ways we can go about this, but you can leave or we'll make you leave. Like
Yeah,
this is what happens in like any other fucking store that has like I've seen better security at fucking Kmart than this fucking Dunkin'. I've seen security in New York Dunkins that's specifically for dusty ass niggas like this fuck. And then what happened? He got behind, like he got a little dicey. Said
He
the
got his
N-word a couple
donut
times.
dunked. That's what happened.
None of his coworkers did anything. Like, so what's he supposed to do? Like, he reacted. If you want to prevent that
My
reaction,
guy got
get
his
security in
stick
your Dunkin'.
glazed, bro.
Or the manager could deal with it. Like, I don't know, man.
I'm not comfortable saying, "Oh yeah, he reacted to the situation." No, he
Yeah, but it's because you've never been in a position like
the situation was
like
calling
that.
the cops, right?
You've never
And,
been in a
like,
No,
position
no,
like that.
they
But
did.
okay,
a
sure,
lot
sure,
of this is a
sure.
reaction. To be fair, he's not wrong about that. Like, it's not. You don't just think, "Oh, I'm going to punch this guy in the face. This is a really good idea." He's thinking like, "I want this guy to leave my fucking store. Get him the fuck out." And I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying like that is a reaction.
No, the
step,
guy is
even if it's
thinking this
indefensible.
guy is calling me the
you can't-
N-word and I'm offended, so I'm gonna hit this guy in the face.
That's not what he's thinking, though. He's thinking, "I really
100%
want
what
this
he's
guy
thinking.
fucking out of my store right now." Well,
But you don't-
Wait, hold on. The guy literally said, "Say it again" in this guy's face before he hit him. Right? He's not thinking like going through this guy's
He's
mind.
not.
isn't
He's
like,
not commanding the
needs to
guy
get
to
out of
say
my
it again.
store.
What he's
No,
saying is, "Get out of my store," or "Stop talking like that."
No. He said, "Say it again" after the guy said the N-word because he wanted the guy to say the N-word again so they could beat him in the face.
No,
right?
he can already beat him in the face.
No.
He has the
That's
freaking
a
face
stretch.
right there.
That's a stretch,
No,
Dolphin. That's
even
a
hot
stretch.
take,
You guys are right. You know, like
No,
realistically,
yeah.
he should have sanctioned the guy. You know, like
Yeah,
he should have-
sanction him, totally
you know?
reduce his oil supply.
They
Then
should have had a
McDonald's
meeting.
will-
They
then
should have talked.
Let him join
McDonald's
NATO.
will pull.
Yeah.
McDonald's will pull sales. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and by all the times, then he'll learn to stop saying the N-word. And another thing, like we understand like the power that comes behind that word, especially if a white person says that to a black person. And the idea that we're just going to kind of diminish, like, oh, we're going to call police and deal with it. You can't, any outcome is possible in that. And the idea that you can even say that, like, this outcome was inevitable just by him saying, like, say it again is fucking, it's a ridiculous thing to say. Because you wouldn't hold that to any other situation. You know,
Bro,
how-
for me, it's not even. For me, it's not even the N word.
Situation.
Stop. You know for a
Literally
fact
every
all
single
outcomes are
situation.
possible. All out, or do you believe that all outcomes were possible? If he said say it
Wait,
again,
just because an outcome is possible doesn't mean that it's right or justified.
True.
But the conversation is you would have
again,
a completely.
I
You
want
can
to
finish, Joe.
again,
You can finish,
condemning and condoning an action, it doesn't fucking matter here. Like, what are you going to do to alleviate those circumstances for the outcomes that you deem undesirable? What's an undesirable outcome? Getting punched in the face and dying. What should have that individual done? Assess the possible outcomes. If a man's telling me, say it again, should I really say the N-word again? He said the N-word because he knew. Goddamn, he said the N-word because he knew. He said the N-word because he knew goddamn well that in other situations he probably saw no repercussions for that.
So
I'm just like, you guys.
I
You
can
guys are
see
right.
that as a possibility, but I wouldn't.
Let's live in a world where no matter where you work, you're a bitch, and like anyone can come into where you work,
wow,
call you the N-word, and be like, "Damn, that felt good. I'm gonna go home."
What?
And he'd be like, "Well, sir, you got your N-word pass, but did you want a glaze stick, by the way?" And they're like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll be back tomorrow."
What is this?
And then
What is this toxic masculinity bullshit? Like, this is literally that. Like, oh, I perceive this as
Who
being
said
a
woman
bitch.
can't do it too? Like,
Okay.
this is.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying you
great.
said all workers
No, but
deal
you're
with
like
it.
the only way to solve our problems with violence. And I'm sorry, Joe, maybe I missed that part of the story. I might have missed it, right? But like, what did him being a sex offender have anything to do with anything? Right? I
just wanted to do the same thing as do the black people and just drag his record.
He probably
okay,
eats his
alright, well,
donuts weird.
Okay, well, then, all right, well,
I mean, you
fuck the
can't
guy.
like, and
Oh,
also it's
fuck him,
good
but, like, he has-
contextually.
he has
I mean, it's
nothing to do-
contextually good too because you can't load the hypothetical and say, what if he had a weapon? He's a sex offender. He's not going to have a weapon. What if he had a firearm? Well, he's a sex offender. He can't have a firearm.
So why wouldn't he have a weapon?
Like
he's a sex offender.
because people don't do illegal
Oh,
things. I don't know.
It's illegal.
Yeah,
Darn.
there you go.
Like,
Right?
you
I
wouldn't
mean,
go on that assumption.
yeah.
Even if you somehow knew that he was a sex offender, you wouldn't go.
No,
Like,
I'll go with that.
he doesn't have a
You
weapon.
think a sex offender's going to have a firearm at Dunkin' Donuts?
It's
Do you
illegal.
think
It's
he's gonna go
illegal.
in there with a
It's illegal
firearm
to
at
touch
Dunkin'
He
kids.
already, it's already illegal to touch kids. So he's like, he's already crossed that bridge.
Oh Lord, you don't know anything about like what offenders can own and not own. Then all right, this is
Not a
No, I know that
DD.
they
I know he owned his last
I don't-
payment.
I don't-
He owned that
They
last
can-
payment.
If I walk up to someone and pick up a knife, I'm not gonna like melt because like if I happen to be a sex offender and I can't own a weapon, like I wouldn't just
okay.
melt.
No, I'm saying we can't load this hypothetical under ridiculous parameters. Like,
The
what if he had a
possibility
gun?
someone has a weapon is
Wait, hold
always
on.
there.
Wait.
I wouldn't load it because I think it's uncommon. That's why I wouldn't load it.
So easy.
I'm not even sure
Goddamn.
if
Love
sure
it.
if being a sex offender stops
Well, it's
you
like
from
you
having
guys.
a weapon.
It's like it's.
I'm pretty
it's
sure
crazy.
that like I'm pretty sure if it's a misdemeanor sex offense charge, you can still buy firearms.
I don't know
If
about
you-
that, but I
but
think
you
it's weird that we're
understand the
dealing with the
position.
concept of the hypothetical right now. Like we're
Thank
dealing
you.
like we're dealing with the concept of like, oh,
Wait,
well, if you hit
nothing
them,
wrong.
like there's possibilities of repercussions, and then the worker should have like calculate those repercussions, but we're holding none of those standards to the person who came in and started the situation. He
Yeah,
should have
he should have
calculated the potential
postulated.
the repercussions of saying this word,
No,
which
like,
has very high likelihood of
thank
getting you
you.
punched
And
in the
it's
face.
like you guys are removing one part of it. Is like the worker, they lose their job if they leave. It's not like, yo, like some guys saying all that shit to you. It's not like, all right, you know what, fuck it, and you leave. The second you leave the store, your job's in question. They're gonna be like, well, you shouldn't have left the store. Like, that's property. You just left this crazy person in the store with all the property. You're fucked. You're fucked. So you're condemning them to stay there and get that treatment to someone they said don't come in here as they wait
So
for the
he has
police.
more at stake,
Actually, that's
though.
just not
I feel like-
true. That's like policy.
How is that not
if,
true?
Like, you're getting robbed. Like policy in most places like this is like if you're getting robbed or if someone's being aggressive, you can just walk the fuck out. Like let
Even
them
if
steal
you
everything.
watch them
They can-
steal
you can
something,
let them take over the whole fucking store. You walk out and like you're fine. Like they can do whatever the
and
fuck
the
they
store will not punish you
That's-
because that's their
where's
that's
the
every
weapon?
store's policy.
Where's the weapon?
Where's this
Where's-
policy at?
there's
Where's
a-
the,
there
am I,
doesn't have to
am
be
I
a
gonna go to
weapon.
every? Let's go. Let's go to
Where is
every
the
single
policy? Where-
corporation.
Go walk
Let's
to
look
any
at every
store.
single
Go walk
I
to
policy.
did
any
not
store.
have the
My store
policy
had
in
that
the store that I worked.
Push it back so goddamn hard.
I
They'll
worked
fire
for a
ass
pretty
those
large
fucking
company,
men.
and the policy was you press 2 buttons under the fucking desk, you let the managers know, and you comply with whatever the person said. It was never you run out the building. It was you make sure everyone else is good.
yeah,
you
that's
can
what
do
I'm-
security.
I'm not
You
talking about
make
leaving.
sure,
I was
like,
talking
your
about
fellow
the second
coworkers
part.
are cool, but yeah.
Oh.
But
Yeah, so
you
there's
gotta-
gonna be
you gotta
somebody that stays.
100%. You tell a man, you call the police, you tell a manager, and you like remove yourself from the situation if you have.
How
to.
many times? How many times is he gonna call you the N word before you react? Once, twice, 3, 4 times.
How many to get to the
Why-
center?
I'm just trying to figure out
No,
where,
yeah.
where's
How
the
many-
tolerance.
How
Why
many
do you have
times
to-
do you call?
Because it's
you
clear.
call
It
the
seems like
N-word
you'll
before
take
you
it.
kill
Seems
a
like
guy?
you'll
Like,
stop
yeah.
and you'll see. It
Exactly.
seems like you're an individual who just like
how
be
many
open
times
and
does someone have to
totally
call me
fine.
the N-word before I'm allowed to just murder them? All right.
No, he listen. The
Man-
ground murdered him.
manslaughter.
Okay,
Wow.
not the fist.
Okay, manslaughter.
Not the
The
fist. The
ground
fist was an
murdered
accelerant.
It was a tool to get to the destination, but
No,
I
The
mean, I just-
employees,
wanna
the
know.
employees
I just
simply
wanna
there
know-
Don't
because
blame
of
the
the
keys.
job.
Don't
This is my
listen.
pocket.
Listen.
How
Stop
many
it. Stop
N-words?
it. Don't blame the
Two,
keys.
two,
Don't blame the
three,
keys in a car
4?
crash. Okay.
What's the number? How many? I just want to know how many. So like, how many times does a white person have to call me the N-word that I can kill them? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
We're not-
How
Well,
many?
we-
well,
we're
the
acting like
thing
he's
is- well, the thing
attempting
is
to
like,
kill
That's
them.
how
are you
long
trying
you
to
would have
say?
waited.
Wait, hold on, wait. So you're trying to say that you could hit a person so hard on contact they would die? That's some Ngannou shit. This man had 2 things. He had the fist in the
Wait.
ground on his side.
It's
you know
not
the
a-
ground exists around most people, right? We all
Yeah, I
have
mean, but
ground
when you
around
hit somebody
us.
so hard that they fall to the ground.
But if we're
the
including
ground's
the
what
ground in
killed him,
every
not the punch.
situation, most
ground's
punches,
what
if you
killed him,
lay
not the
someone out,
punch.
yeah, but if you
The
lay
ground's
someone
what
out, the
killed him,
ground's
not
going to
the
be there.
punch.
Yep, and the ground's
The
always
ground's
going to
what
be
killed
there. The ground's always going to be there.
I think that this
Ground's always gonna be
individual
there.
had
Ground's always gonna be there.
spent a lot of
Just this
time
bait
thinking
is
that the
so
ground
easy.
wasn't there. It was reminded that the ground was there.
But
Listen,
I'm
I'm
It's
just
just
trying to-
weird to be like, well, the ground did it.
Well, I'm trying to just
Yeah.
push the content forward, okay? Because we all kind of accepted that this guy fucked around and found out. So it's
yeah,
like,
that's true.
That's
But like, yeah, he did, right? That's
and I'm just throwing
Yeah.
soft. I'm not
mean,
even throwing
this is-
softballs. I'm just throwing like balloons, and they're just kind of floating, and we're all just like, oh, sex offender. Oh, come on, guys.
All I'm saying is like Medicare doesn't cover that shit. All right.
But look, I'm with Top Dolphin here. Like, when do you? When it's like at what point? Yeah, people are mean to you. People are mean.
Yeah.
People are mean to
No,
me.
there's mean people, and there's people who say the N word. Let's make it clear here.
No,
We're not
they're
saying
not-
something
they're not
wrong
mean.
thing. It's somebody saying the N word in an act of malice.
Women. Okay,
It's the
hold-
N word in
hold
an
on.
act of malice. It's a
Women
totally
have
different
to
thing.
deal with, and I'm gonna speak.
Women
for
don't
all-
have to deal with
I'm
the
gonna
N word. Let's
speak
be
for
real
all
here.
the womenkind here, right?
Yeah, what
They
about
like
black
it when I
women?
do that.
What
They
about
like
black
it when
women?
I do that.
Remember, this is true. This is
But
very
like,
true.
women,
women
apparently you're not
have
black.
to deal with like
Intersectionality doesn't
Hold
stop
up,
when
hold
I
up.
choose it to.
oh my god. Fucking
Yeah.
hell. I love
So
Joe
if you're a
Lewis.
black man, someone calls you the N-word, like you lay them out. But if you're a black woman,
I've seen many situations. I've seen a white kid call a black kid the N-word. That black kid stabbed him. I've seen kids get blasted. I've seen adults get blasted. It's almost like you should probably not
Imagine
say
like
the N-word to
a
black
black woman wouldn't
Yeah,
be able
I
to
don't
take
think
this
anybody
old ass man.
disagrees. I don't
She
think
would take
anybody
that old
agrees
ass
with the
man
part
easy.
that, like, if in another world this guy walks in, says it at the guy, he walks up, says it, and he doesn't punch him. Okay, that's a whole different world. I don't think anybody here would be upset if that guy got arrested for harassment. I don't know how that works.
So he
but I think everybody
probably
cool with it.
shouldn't have said the N-word because he said the N-word again.
Sure, but he had repercussions coming, and someone came and
did he have repercussions
Django,
coming?
he
He
said,
would have
say it
walked out of
again.
that Dunkin'.
He was
And
asking
when that
he would've walked
happens,
out of
then
that
we can
Dunkin'
look at
again
that.
with-
The problem is that now we can never look at that. Now we have to look at this guy just like where people are going to say like, oh, he acted super angrily for no reason, and people will have more ammunition against him.
But the thing is- but the thing is, would you-
Don't say the N-word to black people.
Women have to constantly deal with like being verbally assaulted, right? Like that men do this. They call them all kinds of nasty words, like terrible words, right? But like they can't oftentimes respond with force. And instead, you have to find other ways of dealing with these things, right? Some of it is just walk away. Other times, if you have to, like call the police. But should the option be that when a woman is verbally assaulted, right, that she physically assaults the person who did that? Like, should that be a
Any
happens.
outcome is possible. Any outcome.
So
is
you
possible.
wouldn't? Would you condemn?
No,
You'd
yes,
be
it's
condemning the
possible.
woman defending
This
herself
isn't-
from a
like, this is
sexual
what-
harassment of like there's an old guy sexually harassing some black woman, calls her the N-word, says all this stuff, is encroaching on
slaps
her, and she calls the police and she's waiting there, and then she knocks the person out and they end up dying. You'd be like, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you should have explored all the options. Like, you shouldn't have hit the guy. Like, the
Why-
cops are coming anyway.
Wait, you know, there's a difference between saying like what someone should have done and understanding why they did it, right?
I mean, that's what we're trying
Yes.
to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But
And
I'm
all
giving a
saying is,
scenario.
like,
I'm like, yeah.
we can all agree that like again with this guy and with that woman in that case, like yeah, I get it, but it doesn't mean you should have done it.
But that's
all.
not. But that's like.
not-
but
It doesn't
that's-
engage with the
that's-
problem here.
Yeah,
It
we're
doesn't-
asking for this
like,
ideal
okay.
world. Well, yes, in the ideal world, no one ever does anything bad. But we should deal with the realities of if someone, I don't know, if somebody came in and joined the room right now and said, you know what, I'm thinking of this idea for a video. I'm gonna go downtown and in the inner cities to pop off a few N-words, you know, and like we all agree that nothing should morally happen to me, right? And we would be like, I don't know about that, Chief. Like, if you do that, like, there's a real possibility that someone could F you up and
Hold on,
like, and
those
it
are
would
two
be
different
understandable.
things.
It doesn't
Those are two
matter.
different
We
things.
tell people that their cars are gonna, like, you shouldn't leave your car unlocked because people like steal from it. That doesn't mean that
Sure,
we go out
but
there
that's what
and
I'm-
look at people who rob cars. It's like, well, he left his car unlocked. He's basically
He
asking
fucked
for it.
around
Just
and
like,
found
no,
out.
But exactly, that's a great scenario. That's a great example. If someone leaves their car unlocked, it's not their fault if their car gets stolen from, but they do have some responsibility in that. Like, and that's all we're talking about. We're saying like you have some responsibility. Like, sure, yeah, you know, like you didn't get your car stolen, but you absolutely played a part. There was something that like some of the responsibility has to fall at your feet for how you could
So
have
does
prevented
that
this situation.
responsibility mean that you lose your car?
Yeah,
No,
like
it doesn't.
In that situation,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
physically, like your car's gone.
No. I mean, like, does. But sorry, I guess what I'm meant to say is
I'm
that
laying it at
you
your feet.
deserve your car to be stolen, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So like, you leave the keys to the ignition for whatever fucking reason, right? And does your car deserve to be stolen? Do you deserve to lose that property you put a mass amount of investment in? Is that what that means?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you.
Then I disagree.
Like, if you go out there and you like, you know what, I'm gonna go leave my car unlocked again because like I don't deserve this. Like, no, you have some responsibility. Like, if you do it again, you're asking like there is a certain degree of asking for it in that situation.
I'm disagreeing with
Absolutely.
the analogy.
Yeah,
But
I
also,
don't
I,
think
di-
it's.
but
I don't think
also I
it's similar.
disagree with that.
That
Yeah.
I did say I went hyper at the end, but like generally, like you do have some responsibility to yourself.
yeah, but
protect
like
yourself.
you're
No, I don't
like
think it's
using
that
this for
similar.
responsibility. Like you don't have like a moral. Well, you don't have like a moral like responsibility to the outcome of the situation if you leave your car unlocked. I would say, right? You might have a responsibility to yourself that you should probably lock your car and take care of your valuables, but you don't have any responsibility to the act of your things getting stolen.
Sure,
Do you
this
have
sounds good from a
responsibility of-
classroom perspective, but in the real world, I feel like you do.
No,
Like in the real world
obviously, in the
implications
real
of
world,
this.
you tell people to lock their cars, or you tell people to like
not go around and say the N-word. Like that's just
I
obvious.
agree.
If you do
I
it,
That's
you
my
This
do
is
it.
like
There's
this is
But
not
hey,
just
right?
about.
No, it's not moral.
It's not about just the
ethics.
N-word.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's this
That's
person was like attacking these people verbally, yes, verbally, and then they were told to not enter, not come into this location. They did, and because of the inefficiency and inability of Dunkin' Donuts, it was left up to untrained employees to deal with the situation, and then they got an untrained employee acted in an untrained manner, and there's a death, and then the blame is placed on the individual and not Dunkin' Donuts. Like Dunkin' Donuts is clear and free. You know, America runs on Dunkin'. So like, what
Don't
what
be
happens
racist.
to them? Pick up your morning Joe tomorrow. It's not their fault. It's somehow the employee's fault completely. When it's like, what position are you putting your employees in? Like this all could be solved by paying them more and training them on how to deal with situations like this, or just getting a security individual, paying them to deal with the situation. This would never have occurred.
And are we accounting for this man for the employee's mental health? Because I think I think we need to put that into play. I think he was attacked mentally. I think it was severe, and I think that when we add in the implications of what that word could have did to him, like it could have been an equal response to like
it's a failure. It's a failure of management. It's kind of how I chalk it up. Like again, like I'm not gonna condemn or condone the individual's behavior, but I can understand like how somebody would lash out in the way that they lashed out, and like and I don't know, man. It's like you got to put the people that work under you in positions to be successful whenever possible, and clearly Dunkin' Donuts failed that.
Yeah, I actually this part I agree with 100% because I remember having I worked at 2 different GameStops and having a security guard at one made it a lot easier when people were acting up versus like the other one where there was no one ever who was going to respond to like anything that happened. Like that difference mentally, knowing that like this person can say whatever they want and do whatever, and I can't really do anything, versus like I could just call a dude and he'll come in and he'll fix it. That's very different. It helps the worker.
So
a
now,
lot.
so
They don't
now we
to
have to
resolve
have security guards at every
Everywhere.
McDonald's.
it.
Taco
Or
Bell,
no, you
Dunkin'.
can just have it in the area.
That
in
already
general.
happens, Dolphin. What are you fucking talking about?
No.
Like different communities
alright, not in-
understand. Different
and maybe
communities
in some
understand the
places.
I
potential
thought
danger.
I thought
places
Dunkin'
you're not-
Donuts. I thought Dunkin'
Typical-
Donuts was a job creator. I thought that's what they wanted to do was give jobs to Americans where there's jobs that are needed.
Joe
And this is
Lewis.
clearly a necessary job. Why not give it to an American?
Joe Lewis.
Security is a necessary job in most stores. We know this to be true.
This
We
might
don't
be
hire
the-
we don't hire security staff in Target just because we want to give people money. We hire security staff at Targets because we understand the niggas steal shit. Like you can
let's-
have security at Dunkin' Donuts. It doesn't seem like a far-fetched thing to do.
Although security at Target
well,
is way
yeah, Target's
different
way
than
bigger.
That's they're not technically security. They're loss prevention, right? And they're not especially.
I have
And- and-
I have security at my
different.
Target.
in
I was gonna
listen,
say
and-
security does exist.
and-
in
I have
Target.
security at my
Might be like-
Target.
and
You might have
Target-
loss prevention in your lib ass suburb,
And-
but
and-
where I live, we have fucking police
Target-
officers.
In
and
New York
Target's
City,
where
I
we
agree,
are.
It might be completely fucking different because there are some crazy motherfuckers in that.
We got
city,
niggas
right?
in Jersey too. We got crazy niggas in
Yeah, I was
Jersey.
gonna say in the
There's
targets
crazy
around
niggas
here,
everywhere.
But in the
in
vast
targets around
majority of
here,
States-
they are able to physically touch like individuals. The security where I worked, I wasn't able to physically touch an individual.
Yeah.
I was loss prevention. I was a person that had to look at cameras, listen to the bullshit that people spew, talk them out of things, and I was the person that was trained to do that so that nobody else had to deal with it. And I cared a lot less because I was paid to do that. And because they paid me to do that, nobody else had to deal with that. And we didn't have those problems. I had those problems. Whereas like at Targets, like they'll train somebody and the people they hire are allowed to physically touch individuals. If I physically touch somebody, I would lose my job. And I was told that every time is that you touch somebody, you lose your job. Even if I've never touched somebody, it felt like I was like fucking like in a Mormon like camp or some shit. Like they were like, don't touch them, don't even say anything. That's how I had to work, and I was loss prevention. It's different. So, and beyond that, you don't have to touch people to be security. But realistically, if somebody has to touch somebody, I would hope that there's a security person to do it. I would hope that it's a manager that's like, hey, security person speaks to the manager, says, hey, you have to take action because I can't touch this person. And then the manager says, all right, you can do that, and I'll take the brunt of it. I'll speak to corporate. I'm the person who has to deal with that. Something has to be done versus not training them at all, not giving them any opportunity to act, not telling them what to do, and then just leaving them to sit there with their donuts and get called the N-word. Like with the protection of what? Like a small table and the fact that this person's 70 something years old, they're probably spitting on you. They're probably they just probably smell. Old people smell. He's probably spitting at you, saying profanity. Like what? Like, is that what you wanted out of your Monday? Go to work and get called the fucking N-word, be berated, tell someone to leave, have this guy say all these things to you. You can't leave because, well, guess what? You have bills to pay. Inflation's fucking sucks.
So,
gas
Wiggle,
prices
wiggle,
went up.
You could
hold
take
on.
out your frustrations on this man's face. You could do that,
Well,
right?
Wiggle, come on.
No,
You know
That's
that you can
exactly
just-
what you're saying. That was sorry, not him
No.
you're saying. That Wiggle's saying.
No, what I'm saying is, the first thing, I would do is I'd say, sir, it's not that big of a deal. And then the person says, oh, like, yada, yada, yada. I'll say, you know what, you're right. I wasn't really thinking about what you're saying. How can I help you? The person doesn't want to be helped. Then I say, okay, we can't serve you. Then this person parks, comes into the store, and then I say, sir, we said we couldn't serve you. Please. And I put my hand out, and everybody knows what the handout is like, stop coming closer. The person continues to come closer. Then they start berating me. They start saying all these things to me and the staff. They're saying profanity. They're starting to now verbally attack the people that are working here. Those people probably are going to leave. Like, it's not like this is a great paying job. They're like, fuck this shit. This person's saying the N-word to people, saying all this kind of... And then you're telling them, well, I mean, that's just how it is. I'm not saying that this person, has to hit this person. I'm saying, at what point? At what point? Like, when? Like,
That's what
the
I
person
wanna
told
know.
them.
That's
The
what
person
I
said,
asked, how many times does someone have to call? Does a white person have to call me the N-word? Like, and deck him out and kill him. Like, that's what I want to know.
yeah,
Can you give
so
me a number?
why...
Can
The
you give me a
person
number?
didn't know that they were killing the person. The person was just effective.
Can you give me a number? I just want to know.
Like
How
a
many-
number
how
in
many
every
N-words-
interaction.
how
I don't
many-
know.
how many
It's
Like,
going to be
N-words
very.
does it take
It's
for me
going to
to
be
do
very
it?
dependent on.
what would
This
satisfy
is-
you? Like 194? Like
I
what
just wanna know what your
13
number
would you
is.
want 34 beats per minute? Like would you want like advertisements in a 10-minute N-word
Hey,
compilation?
I
Like
just want
how
to be
much?
ready for when that white guy calls me the N-word the next time. I'm just gonna be like, say it again, and then
And
once
you won't do.
and
And you
keep
won't do
saying
shit
it,
because you
and
bitch
once
made.
he hits that
We know you
number,
bitch
I'll
made
hit
top
him in the
topic.
face.
You ain't gonna do shit. It's very clear in your language
Sure,
that somebody will call you
100%.
the N-word straight to your face, and you wouldn't
Yeah.
do shit. You'd probably hide behind the
I
mask.
would say I
Very
would
clear
want a
100%, yeah, I'm
10-minute,
hiding.
YouTube
Yeah.
monetized
I know.
video with closed captions in 3 different languages, and I would want about 246 to maybe like 314 N-words, and then that's enough until like you defend yourself.
All right, cool. Well, this guy definitely didn't get to 246, so
You got to 2,
he's definitely in
and
the
you found
wrong,
out.
you know?
Yeah,
Because everybody's tolerance to bullshit is gonna be different. We know this to be true.
yeah. Like y'all. I thought you all cared about the workers. Y'all sound like middle management right now. Like you're the
Even if
people
this
that are
happened
talking to
outside
this.
of a workplace, I would probably
Like
say
we
the
want to
same
have,
thing.
like we want to have the situation,
actually-
right? Like when you're met with
Oh,
like some
okay.
type of bullshit that your manager is gonna protect you, and your job's gonna protect you. Like, but very clearly that didn't happen.
What they call
What
that?
were you- what were you about to
they're-
say, Django?
I don't think they're going to defend him. If this happens outside of a workplace, it's one different because you can walk away, but also I would hold the same accountability. But this person has more options. I understand that part where like a worker can get in trouble for walking away, I would imagine. And also, yeah, that's probably the main thing. And they're not, the other worry isn't getting fired. It's mostly just like punching this guy and having to get in trouble with cops.
So okay, but then if getting fired is the big difference and I think a larger risk than this happening outside of a workplace, then why would you give equal weight to those scenarios?
No, I'm just talking about the idea that something about me being against the workers. It's not really about that. I would hold similar accountability towards someone who's not in a workplace. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't.
Okay, I thought you said the
Oh.
same accountability. Sorry.
I
I
did at
think
first,
if-
but I should have changed it a little more firmly.
I mean, we
I think
understand
if
that in
you
the
weren't a worker,
workplaces,
yeah, I'd say if you weren't in a workplace,
totally different.
why are you there? Like I'm a huge victim blamer in that instance. I'm like, if you're not in the workplace, the first thing I want to know is why are you listening to someone call you the N-word? Like what's stopping you from leaving? And then when the person says, I couldn't leave, I really wanted to stay in that area. It was like a smoking area or something. I'd be like, why? Like, why would you stay in an area where someone's causing verbal harm to you to the point at which you have to physically act in your mind?
Sure.
You could just leave.
And
I think that's a
why are we
very
always
clear
why are we
difference.
putting that why are we putting that responsibility on the the victim in
worker.
that case?
Yeah.
Like
Because in
in
that
every
instance,
situation, like
because in that instance, there is not the idea of there's like somebody whose back's against the wall. Like if there's two people in an open space, one could both can leave, both can take. Whereas you are putting a worker back against the wall because they're constrained to one location. The other
but that's
person has the full freedom.
but you're saying that someone can leave. It's saying that you're saying that
Yeah.
you're in your situation. You're saying they should leave. You're saying that like people just don't have a right to exist in the space without being victimized. And if they
No,
do,
I think
then
that
you're
I
just-
think that if
you're
you,
saying that you should just go. Like
I
they
think that
they
if
won.
I think 100%. Like if you're in this IRL, you're in this space, this person's talking to you, you don't have to be there at all, and you're just in public, you're at like a park or something. There's no reason that you have to stay there. Like if that person
but
is,
they can
if
leave.
that
You can make them
person's
leave.
if that person's
Yeah, but
attacking
how do you
you,
make someone leave without
I'm
being
saying if that
physically-
Punching
person's
them in the face.
if that person's
Exactly.
verbally
That's
attacking,
That's the escalation that we don't want.
yeah, I'd
But
say if that
why don't
person,
we want that?
I would say
That's
that
what
if
I'm asking. Why is this
if
bad?
that person's verbally
Um,
attacked, I think if that person's verbally attacking you to the point at which you feel that you have to physically act, then you can remove yourself and call somebody else that's trained to handle that. And 100% is the person you're supposed to go to. That would be like security, police, or what have you. If you're in a workplace, you don't have the ability to escape because
I'm
you're
not
coerced to
interested in
be
that.
there.
I understand what
You're
you're saying,
pushed
but
to
that
be there.
distinction, I don't like that distinction because my thing is, I feel like even in public spaces, black people have a right to exist without I don't think that someone has the right to call you the N word, and then now the obligation is on you to
They don't have the
move yourself.
they don't
No one
they
ever said they had the right to call him the N word.
But he's saying if
Well,
they
he's
do,
saying
then
that
you
the
have
victim
to.
has to
Saying that the
leave.
response
Yeah.
shouldn't be
well
violent.
that's the point is that
But
this
You
is
can't control
this is
that.
advice that I'd be giving the victim, like the person who's doing it. Yeah, do you want me to say don't do that to the person? Yeah, don't do that to the person.
But
I
not just
can't
why, but
control
you got to
both
tell
people in
them
the
why you
scenario.
don't do it. That's what I'm saying. I'm only controlling one. If you do
Yeah.
that, you may get punched in the face. Like I'm, and the person that punched you in the face happened to punch you in the face because you did that. You initiated the situation. You created this confrontation, and this is a possible outcome. Like and that outcome. Like I think that there is an outcome. I think there is a crossing line. They can't. I don't think a guy should pull a gun and straight up execute you. But I think we're overestimating the concept. The concept of being punched in the face, can it lead to death? Absolutely. But I feel like people, I don't know. I think people should be able to fight.
I don't think I would
Even in a healthy
personally,
society, in a
even
perfect
if I
world, people would be able
personally
to
would
fight.
agree with you, I don't think we live in that world. I think we live in the lib world that Prime, Jay Cooks, Django, Top Dolphin want, where it's if you were to do that, they would want you in prison. Like they would be like, all right, it makes sense that you're charged. Something happens to you because you're physically approaching that. So why would I give that person that advice, knowing that we live in the world that's created by the individuals that want to unarm people and say when someone's violent towards you, you should be like Mahatma Gandhi, and you should get slapped in the face. You should take that, or else.
Well, I'm not giving advice. We're asking what should be.
That's exactly what you're asking. Yes.
No, but I'm asking
what I would
what should be
give
a
as
justified
advice to these
response.
people.
And I'm not asking. Well, I'm not asking for advice. Well, I guess that I was doing that before. But generally, my perspective of this conversation is on what should be what do we want to see in society as a justified response? If someone called you the N word, they're it would be great if you didn't get if that they were calm enough to not punch you in the face. But I think that should always be an option on the table for that person to take up, especially when they didn't do anything to initiate the situation.
I think we should probably try to educate white people to stop saying the N-word in public, especially in acts of malice. It seems like because we've never really approached racism head on, we have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of white people who are openly and willingly going to say the N-word to black people in acts of malice as an act of violence. And
I don't think
until
teaching works. I think that the more you
no,
teach those people that it's something you shouldn't say, without consequences,
They'll
You
pull
gotta
the more they'll
stigmatize it.
know
let's
that
be
it's
real.
damaging.
I don't think most people are walking up to black people saying the
All I'm
N-word. I
saying
think
is that,
this
like,
guy was
if you say,
77.
if
He
you
might
say,
have
Wait,
had a
You're
mental
right, you're right.
hold on.
No, no, no,
Because
dementia.
did I fucking say that? Let me try it again. I'm trying to say here is that we have not, as a society, socially stigmatized white people to not say the N-word. Because they shouldn't. They
we
shouldn't say
have,
the
it's
N-word.
just not
No,
We
offensive.
try.
I don't know
still
about
a
that.
weapon. Clearly,
We
it
do.
can still be used as a weapon because
It
this
can
guy.
clearly
He
still
Yeah.
be used as a
he
weapon.
had
Yeah,
the-
but
he
we
had this
doesn't mean we
reaction.
haven't tried. Like every single white person in America has been told not to say this word. So yes, there was
Sure.
there's things that every person in America doesn't brush, like there's people that don't brush their teeth, but they know not to say the N-word. Like it's something that everybody has like been told. I just think that it's not as effective because it's not like Voldemort, you know? You can say Voldemort and your ass is gonna get clapped. There's something that happens. You say the N-word and what happens? It's something you're told not to do, and then you could just do. You know,
I
so
mean,
it's
we
like,
could be like South.
yeah.
We can be like South Africa, the way they locked up Vicky Momberg. Like that's the thing we can do. She called a police
I don't
officer
know
a
that.
racial slur, and she got arrested and
Yeah.
charged and served time.
I
We're
think that's
saying the
pretty.
N-word.
I
And
think
then all these
that if
fucking
we actually-
liberals and righties are like, oh my god, tone policing. And it's like, you know, it's a really good way to make sure you're not gonna say a word to black people is getting fucking arrested for
No,
it.
that if that guy again, like in a scenario where a police officer walks in and arrests that guy, puts him in jail, great, even better.
We
Just a
don't
better
have that
outcome.
shit. We don't have that shit in the States. Like we like to
He's
we
not,
like
he's
to
not
like
getting arrested for like what he's saying. He's getting arrested because he's trespassing.
yeah,
I
we like
wouldn't-
to tip
Yeah,
we
yeah,
like to
and I would
tiptoe
say
around.
that part's
We
a
like to
failing, yeah.
tiptoe around it and give him probation or like give him a little slap on the wrist because it's my word versus yours. And it's like I know you're saying that he said the N-word, but there's no way we can prove
I think it's
that.
pretty regional.
I do want to
You know?
let in some other people. So we have my man GSU Gambit coming at us apparently from the green screen void, right? An endless hell. What the fuck is this shit?
I was recording my podcast yesterday. I forgot that's up. Let me take that down.
Okay.
Boom.
There
What are
we
you
go.
talking about?
Oh
What
no,
are y'all
we can
talking
see
about?
beautiful black man in all his vivid gloriness. All right. We're talking about the first topic about people getting fucked up and shit, right? For saying the N-word.
One punch man over here taking it to the guy's jaw.
I sent you the topics, right?
Because he said it again.
Oh, no, yeah, I was joking. I know what y'all was talking about.
Okay, yeah. So let us know your opinion. Mad Latin also has a story for us, so we'll hear it for that in a sec. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, go ahead, GSU.
I think there's this case, the guy getting punched. There was a case, I think last year before last, where guy got hit with a can of iced tea and he ended up dying. It was an old man called a black dude nigga, and he said, "Hey, don't say that again, or I'm gonna hit you." And he said it again.
Is it Twisted
He got
Tea?
bopped.
Twisted Tea.
So I'm not a
I don't think that guy died.
advocate for violence in any way, but I think if you're idiotic, then you play stupid games and you get stupid prizes. And unfortunately,
good
some
one.
people take being called nigga very seriously. And if you're an idiot and you walk up on one of those people, we wouldn't necessarily say that violence is justified, but you have to understand that if you are an idiot, you might get treated like one. So yeah, if racist people want to call black people the N-word, sometimes you're gonna get bopped. And hopefully you don't fall on concrete and kill yourself, right? You definitely don't want that. But the idea that violence is just unexpected thing and this abhorrent thing that black people are doing when they get called the N-word is ridiculous.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't advocate violence. I understand that that's gonna happen to a lot of people that take this Twitch shit and go offline and say nigga to black people. So yeah, no, shout out to well, not shout out to him. That's kind of gross. But
Chill.
that's gross. But, just don't play stupid games.
Way to get him.
This
topic was brought to you by the ground. The ground always
That's one
there
of the
when you
reasons
need
I
it.
don't want to go to TwitchCon, man, because like people meme here on Twitch, and I might see people in person. They might be idiotic, and I don't know what might happen. So like,
I just
Jesus
want to say,
Christ.
everyone who says that shit on Twitch, when you get them in real life, they're gonna be 100% like
Yeah, they
the
understand
most
what's happening.
passive motherfuckers. You know
I
what
know,
mean?
right?
For-
A lot
Nah,
of people like talk.
maybe you, like
Maybe me. Yeah,
I will not
maybe
be
maybe
quiet.
you, like that. You don't listen. Never underestimate someone's ability to kill your ass. That's like the number one thing I've learned. Where it's like you never know what anybody's capable of, but you can have some like indications based on how they talk and based on how they navigate. One of the reasons why a lot of these people that you might think are kind of pussy shit when they're actually in situations is because a lot of them have never felt like fucking a hand on their chest when they say some stupid shit. And to me, they don't have the circle to save people from that madness. Like, I've been to tournaments where people say fuck shit and then they get beats by Noel Brown. I've seen people say fuck shit and
shout out to Noel.
and get knocked and then get into fights with Sanford Kelly. I've seen this shit because like I've seen people like listen, like I come from the FGC. These
stupid people do try things in
people
person.
do stupid things. I like
Yes.
you're like if Fnatic was here, we could just go back and forth on like, yo, remember that one time when that nigga got punched in the face over a fucking arcade stick? Whoa, that's fucking crazy. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, a button didn't work. I've seen people rage quit on tournaments because a CRT has lag. And then it's like, I mean,
wait. In
Yeah.
this space, CRT, they don't know. They don't.
Yeah. But the thing is that like, but the thing is that
Look erased there.
yeah, but the thing is like, I guess my point is that like getting back to it, because I agree with you, Gambit, where it's like you don't like expect anything and everything. Like just expect everything.
Yeah, like if you're gonna play with dangerous words, understand that you're playing with dangerous words. I'm not saying this guy should have died. I think it's sad that he died. I think it's sad that he was stupid enough to say nigga too. But like you just understand the game that you're playing. Like if you're gonna play that game, understand that hey, you might need to defend yourself for some black people that don't like you saying shit like that.
Okay.
Don't worry, man. I'll put some.
Especially when I thought I didn't read the article until probably about 10 minutes ago, and I was a lot more tempered because I thought it was he walked up on some like brotherhood type shit, but no, this nigga was mad and ran in and said, "Oh yeah, you finna get." You call somebody.
Don't worry,
nigga
man.
out of
I'll
malice.
put a dozen donuts on his tombstone. Like I'll
Listen, like it's just I don't know, man. Unless you're Tommy from Power, then I don't think you should be like using that type of energy on black people. Like
Even
the only
Tommy
person I
wouldn't.
think,
Tommy no better.
yeah, Tommy.
Yeah, you've been watching
exactly.
Force. You've been watching Force. That's how you know you would.
Yeah. Okay. So there's so many things that I want to address to this. And Madeline, we're definitely going to get to you, right? Alabral, one of our followers here. Hello, hi. Says, can we please discuss why the black reaction to those words isn't treated under fighting words doctrine, but so many other mild and less charged items protect white folks from assaults and murders? Is that actually true though? Like,
You should be able to plead temporary insanity if somebody calls you nigga, especially in malice. Yeah, you should be able to plead temporary insanity.
No,
Yeah,
look.
that's-
So there is the fighting words doctrine, right? That's the thing, right? That's
Wait, that is a thing?
yeah. It's a fighting words. Yeah, there's a fighting words doctrine.
This racist ass country? No, I'm playing.
I'm not sure if being called N-word is is under that doctrine. I think it is, and I don't know how much it protects. I'm not a lawyer. I can't really adjudicate it, so but like we fight all the time against the idea that black people are violent. We fight all the time against this, right? But now
So
we're
you call
saying
us nigga,
if you
stop
say
fighting
the
us.
wrong word to us,
Join
right?
in.
Prepare to get fucked up. Prepare to die, possibly, right? That might happen. You said the magic word, right? And so it brings up the homicidal rage inside of us, and you might get fucked up. You might die, and that should just be expected. We just expect that.
No, come
Is
on.
that a
Like,
black thing or is that a
you
human
could
thing?
have wore like Nike Pro Combat
that
gear.
sounded-
You could have went in there with the helmet. Like you
Did
didn't
you-
have to die.
So I just
Somebody
I
walk
look
up to
oh,
a group
I
of
get it.
girls and be like, "Hey, y'all call each other bitches all the time," and they get slapped. I'm not having a lot of sympathy, dog. I'm not like we know it. I don't like it because people act like we don't know what it is. That like don't be shocked that something negative happened. Like, yeah, we didn't want this guy to die, obviously, right? I'm gonna keep repeating that because I don't know where I'm gonna be clipped in this, but So we don't want this guy to die. But like, I understand violence might happen to you if you use nigga and
No,
malice.
this is true. Look, yeah, don't go into like a literal lion's den, right? And expect not to get bitten. Like, no, that's the reality of it, right? Like, watch
Wait,
out.
why? Why should they feel that way?
Shut up, man.
Because they feel that way because of this
Lions
story.
temper themselves.
They feel this way because of that story.
Say it again, you know.
Like every black employee at every Dunkin' Donuts across the nation is a bit safer because of this man's actions. Like,
so look,
How we go down at the DDs.
Look, obvious
oh,
things
fuck.
are,
All right.
are,
I mean,
are obvious,
kinda
right?
true.
Like if you go around messing with someone's verbally assaulting someone's kid, right? Like following them and saying some words, like you're probably gonna get fucking punched in the face, right? I'm wondering,
But that's how.
is it?
Hold on, wait. To be clear, if someone was messing with my son, it's almost equivalent to calling me the N word. Like it's not the same level, but it's close.
Wait, which is
It's
worse?
close.
No, like
said
I
what?
look at no.
You
Gambit,
said there was
I'm
almost, which is
deeper.
worse?
I'm
Wait,
deeper
yeah, I
than
want to
that,
know
man.
which one's
It's not
worse.
Like,
fucking with my son. That's
no,
some different.
Okay,
shit.
okay.
I
Yeah,
was saying,
No, I'm
I
gonna be
was
real
just-
with you. I'm gonna be real with you, Gambit. Like one of the things is that which is why I like this panel, is that it's my job to make fun of Top Dolphin. But if there's some dumb fuck that's making fun of Top Dolphin while I'm on this panel and it's not on ABE, I'm gonna drag that nigga across the earth. I'm gonna drag the nigga across the earth, probably call them a white boy, then we have another panel again about it. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like I argue with you motherfuckers, but I respect the shit out of all of you. And like it goes beyond like for me for like kids, like that's like the that's the layup.
Yeah.
That's like the easy thing. But it's like for me, like for like I'm just kind of just saying this generally, where it's like I think one of the problems is that like some people they don't have like those type of circles where it's like sometimes they're just met with some fuck shit and they just gotta take it. But for like all of you guys, like no, fuck that. Like if somebody calls you anything or gives you shit, I'm gonna meet them with the same fucking energy they give you. You know, it's like you can't be fucking around like that.
I'm gonna caveat what
And
I say,
people
kind of
like
Gambit.
Reform Grifter can say that I'm wilding. I'm just letting you know where my floor is. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm letting you know where my
I feel
floor
like
is.
so.
you
This
can't
is
get
how I feel.
mad when you end up.
And I
on the
want to. And I want to hear Mad Lad take on this too. This is how I feel. I feel like I should be very open to how I interpret people using the N word because some parts of our culture aren't clear about it, and they say, "Hey, it's okay." So I feel like to avoid conflict in the future, people should understand exactly how Gambit feels about this. So if some shit happens, like, hey, you can roll the clip. You was watching it, right? So like, how I feel about white people using the N word toward, especially in malice. That shit like blows my mind. Like just using it is ridiculous to me. Using it in malice is like an invitation almost. But yeah, I feel like I should be responsible enough to explain to people how deeply lots of black people might be offended if people use these like nigga.
Let's go to fuck my YouTube, right? Like fuck monetizing this video apparently. So let's go to my man Mad.
That's racist too of YouTube.
There's Mad Latin, please.
Yeah. So, fun fact, by the way, that whole temporary insanity defense is also known as the Twinkie defense. It's kind of, yeah. Anyway, my dad used to be there's like the racial joke with. It's fine. So, my dad was a security guard, on a university campus in the 1980s and 90s. All right. So his job was to clear out the union, the place where all the students gather when it was going to close up at night, right? And he was called all sorts of shit. But the thing is with my dad's a black belt martial artist. He spent some time in the army, and he's a huge fucking troll. So the way this would work, all right, the best story is these two guys who walked up to him. One really, really big dude, one short dude. Like the tall guy was black, short guy was white. And the short guy looked up at my dad's face and called him the N-word when my dad tried to kick him out of the building. And my dad paused for a second. And like the idea here is like, okay, let's see if we can get the security guard to like fuck us up, and then maybe we'll do some legal shit or something. I don't know what the whole point was. My dad looked at him and he said, "Well, do you know your types of N-words?" Right? And the guy's like, he's expecting like some sort of like enraged response. But my dad was like, ask him if he knew what kind of N-words there were. And the guy's like, oh, no, not really. And my dad's like starts talking. Well, you got us jungle folk, right? So I'm a jungle N-word. And then you got the guys from the deserts. They're the sand N-words. And then there are people like you. You're a snow N-word. Just like that, like right in his face, right? And the guy freaked the fuck out, lost his shit, and tried to deck my dad. And that's all my dad needs, right? Like, he's a security guard, right? He's the security officer. The guy, threw a punch, and my dad got to do his shit and, take the guy out. And he would just do this shit. Like, his idea of dealing with this was not to, respond, with the same, the rage. Like, someone who's racist, someone who's using that word as a derogatory term, trying to, incite, negativity, will often feel pretty pissed off when that word is just used on them in that way. And that was his shit. And it worked all the time. He had no fucking problems with this shit. He was just take these motherfuckers down.
So your dad was just going around calling white people snow niggas?
Yo, this is genius. This is genius level entrapment. This is genius.
It's pretty good.
Man, I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket.
No, and I feel like he was waiting for the day. So I was 15 years old, right? And I'm half black, half Persian. So I think he was waiting for the day that one of his two sons would try the N-word on him to see what would happen, right? And I was the lucky one to be on the whammy. I was like, all right, N-word, right? He looked at me and he called me an N-word Ranian. And I was just like, all right, well, fuck. No, so he's he kind of integrates into the wordplay, right? He'll take the word, take away its power, redeliver it, and say this word does not mean me, it means all of us, and I'm going to twist it and change it and make it whatever I want it to be because fuck you, I can use this word however I want. And because he did that, he takes the power away and it pissed people off. So I think that's the approach if I had to pick one. And if there's going to be a fight, that's fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
But directly to this situation, should that person have thrown that punch? He threw the first punch, and
so I think in this, let me just double check if I'm because I just hopped on super late, so I just want to make sure I get this right.
He used the N-word and malice.
yeah.
So N-word was used in malice, and then
I hate even saying
punch,
N-word.
and then the guy
Jesus
died.
Christ.
I'm saying N-word because I've abused the term when I was 15, and ever since I've decided that I don't have the card anymore. I don't know. It just feels weird to say it. I don't know. I'm allowed to not say it, right? I mean, I can be half black and not use that
You
word.
have to start using it now, or you're off.
Not on Thursdays.
Bro,
On
Not
Thursdays,
Thursdays?
this is a nigga only.
No
room.
nigga Thursdays.
No, you wanna reserve it for when the Dunkin' Donuts employee doesn't respect your order.
Fuck. All right.
And
I mean,
obviously
all right, this will be.
that's
So the first time I'm going to use it is going to be on a Twitch stream. Is that the plan? All right. I mean, I hope someone's clipping that out. Maybe not tonight. All right. Give me a week. Give me a week. I'll practice in the mirror.
Give me
I
a
don't-
week.
It's every day. I'll
That's
practice.
weird. The practice in the mirror. That's
I'm just gonna look at
Oh,
you can do this. You can do this, Madland. I'll be Madland.
I'm putting him
It's so
out.
good in the mind.
He's gonna be training.
It's
You
so
hear the
good
Rocky
in-
music in the background.
No, I can't. I don't know. It's I'll practice though.
Yo, practice.
So yeah, I think
Put
there's.
beat in the background. Good-
No, I
good
gotta
right.
listen. I gotta start listening to the right music, yeah, and then singing the
Yeah.
lyrics that way. It's I'm used to singing it, and then, but yeah, no, I think justified is a weird word to use because justify kind of implies there's some sort of moral and ethical overtones. So we need to separate everything out. I understand why the punch happened, and I am of the opinion that punching racist fucks is kind of cool. I don't like the idea of people dying because of the language they use, but I'm not necessarily sympathetic to the person who got killed because they started shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, fuck them. Now, not to change the subject.
Don't change the subject because we're on
I'm
this. Okay.
I'm not. I want to take it to the next level.
Okay.
So, what about the N-word in the bedroom? So there are people. There
Wow,
are.
that's different.
This
There
is
are-
definitely, this
I'm
is
just
definitely
saying,
a different
You going to
subject.
race play?
Yeah,
How
this
do
is
we
a
get to race
complete
play?
race play.
Hey, what
So
you do,
there
what you do
are-
behind closed doors is your business, right?
Yeah, dog. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You
keep it back there.
look like hypocrites on live, man. Chill out.
No,
Man.
I'm just
Stop.
I'm just
Stop
saying.
it.
No, I'm just saying there's some people who want to hear it, right? And there's some people who want to say it.
Dog.
Yeah,
So,
I normally
if you're in a
don't go into Dunkin'
relationship-
Donuts and just guess who's going to be into that. That's just not my
Right.
cup of tea.
I mean, like we've all had the encounter one way or the other, I'm sure, right? So if you're dating someone and they ask you if they can call you the N-word, or even if you want to share this, maybe someone exists that might have that kink too and might want to share their story about how they've always wanted to have that done in the bedroom. I'm just curious, like, what do you guys think about the topic?
Have we all
And this
had
is
that
for someone,
encounter?
by the way.
I've never had that
happened to me
encounter.
multiple times.
Okay.
Really?
Sir, no sir.
It happened
might
to
be
me
a you
multiple
thing.
times, and I egged it
And
on.
I don't know what kind of girls you're messing around with.
Wait,
man,
GSU, what were you
but-
saying? What were you saying, GSU? What was that?
I said it's happened to me multiple times, and I egged it on. So yeah, that's a different.
What
That's
a
a
kid.
different
It was a different
arena.
time in
though.
his life.
Like,
Interesting. All right. So
Man, I just couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be a white person and be like, "Yo, hey, honey, how would you feel if I
Married
yeah,
at
that'd
20
be
years.
weird.
Married at
That would
20
be
years,
weird.
you're just like, you know what?
if I dropped the hard R in
Gotta
bed? Like,
spice
how
it
would you
up.
feel about that?" Like,
I've heard of a person who was Jewish and they specifically wanted their white partner to act out like being in a Nazi concentration camp. Like that's like, yeah, shit gets weird. Like okay, whatever. Shit
Remember
gets
what we
weird.
talked about? Remember what we talked about the other day?
Yeah, we talked about. But,
I mean,
but,
Yeah,
like,
I think this
I
is
mean,
why
let's
you
be
need to
real. Whatever
legalize.
you do in the bedroom, as
why you
long as
need
it
to-
doesn't involve kids and it's all consensual, who gives a fuck?
This is part of why you
Yes.
need to legalize sex work, so that you don't have to put these ridiculous stipulations on your personal relationships. You can go to somebody, a professional, and then pay them to do this. Then you don't have to live with somebody and then have them do these awkward things, and that they probably don't want to do, but they do because they love you, and they have to live with that the rest of their life.
So
I don't know.
actually,
I
this
don't know.
actually,
I don't want
That's
to.
even
worse to
I'm
me,
sorry.
I
This
think.
is a different subject, and like I want to
Yeah.
get back to the original.
Yeah.
can I ask one more question?
No, is it about the subject? Because I really want to focus on the subject.
Okay, fine. I'll save it for the open, but it's a really good question, I thought. And now nobody's going to be able to hear it.
I can't imagine this conversation in the open.
Oh my gosh, this is.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, it's
That's why I made the first topic.
But I really want
yeah,
to
but-
say it.
But no, it's the usual thing when it comes to white people and this shit. Like, yeah, I want to say it. Like, yeah, it's the usual fucking thing. We've been down this road. But okay.
Yes.
but
We haven't focused in on this. We haven't.
Okay.
I put it out there, and I don't feel like I've gotten a satisfactory response. Like, is it okay for black people to have this switch, right? To have this switch that means as soon as you flip it, then the only response is, I guess, we gotta fuck them up, right? I guess it's okay, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that some people will respond with violence doesn't mean that it's okay to respond with violence, right? That I get that people will take drastic actions when have certain stimuli, but as a community, that doesn't mean that we can't condemn it and say, hey, don't do this. We are better than this. But it seems like if you want to paint black people with a violent brush, right, it's actually quite easy to do so. Say the N-word,
Yeah.
and then you'll prove it.
I
You
mean,
know, I'm taking this into Malcolm's book. I'm gonna own that. I'm taking that to the bank. After like the history, after the black people's histories of like in this country, if there could be like, yeah, you know what, someone calls you that, let's I like Brother Malcolm, let's go by any means. Like this is an actual valid response. If that's what you want me, if I need to own that, let's do it.
I'm not the biggest fan of the framing because the framing is just
Yeah.
like, instead of trying to talk about the violence of the words used on black people, we're just trying to say like, hey, like white people, watch out, the spooky black is gonna come and beat you up if you say this word, so be careful. Like again, like it just seems like time and time again with like questions framed like that, we're just trying to pin it back on personal responsibility of black people without like acknowledging the fact that white people created these conditions where they get punched in the face for saying the N-word. That's their making. We didn't create that shit. We did not create the conditions where people are so emotionally traumatized on a word that they react in that way. But then still, despite knowing that, we still like, hey, black people, be careful there. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like,
I think
I don't
like
know.
the other thing that's like really
Maybe it's just the
important
framing
here.
of the question. I don't know.
Well, so like what's actually like interesting here is that like I mean I have anecdotal proof that it's not just black folk who resent the word. It's all of us. Like it's it's just everyone, right? Like my dad used the no N-word term, right? And what happened? The guy who is definitely not black got really, really pissed off. So it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that word is being used in a derogatory manner, and that's what pisses people off. And like with that in mind, I think it's perfectly fair to say that legally, it's okay, temporary insanity. I think logically, it makes it
not legal.
Well, okay, legally it should be okay. Sorry, I'm sorry. Legally, it
Yeah,
should
that's
be
what-
okay. Logically,
advocating
it
policy.
makes sense. Ethically, probably not okay, and morally, not okay. At the end of the day, that's where I'm at.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the person that you were describing, they're upset because they were somehow closer to a black person. Like they were called a snow nigga, but like
Yeah.
with the hard R. So it's like they're being referred to as a black person, and that's what angered them. So then imagine how it feels for like a black person that like your being is something that people don't want to be, and like that is enough for even white people to get mad at. That's enough
Yeah.
for like I don't know, maybe a non-black, specifically Arab individual or somebody from the Middle East to be angry at being called a sand N-word. So it's like in this whole scenario, it's tied to like the history of black people in the United States. And as long as there isn't some sort of legal ramification, it's always going to be like this culture war. There's always going to be a situation where it's like you're going to test your luck. You're going to say something that we know there's consequences for, and you're going to test your luck because unlike self-defense and other means, we just don't want to make this a legal thing. We don't want to step in there and make it a legal thing, even though we know that there's all these cases where violence happens. There's all these cases where something occurs. We care enough about freedom of speech or what have you to just allow these things to occur. So from my perspective, it's like allow them to occur then. Allow them. Why advocate against it if this is the society you want to live in? You want to live in a society where people have the freedom of speech to say this, and they have the freedom to say that and get the consequences. You don't care about what happens to them because you don't really care about these words. You think that the word is, anyone should be able to say this. It's your freedom. And anybody, if there's a response that happens to you, that's just the cost of that freedom to say these words. So be okay with it.
Yeah,
Same, and this isn't
for
just
me.
Mhm.
No,
you could. I was just gonna say this isn't just like a N-word thing. Like this, I don't say the B word actually. Like I was raised by too many black women, and that
Yep.
word does not really slide with them. And if I was to say that to someone, like if I was to say that, and I got slapped in the face because of that, I would from callers or when that, like I would absolutely like feel like I put myself in that position that was a possibility because it was straight up disrespectful and like it was completely unbecoming. Like, and anyone else that was in that situation, I would say the same. So this isn't just a black thing. This exists for all groups.
Well, no, but I actually agree with Wiggle in the sense that like, what is the intended like word, right? Like the intent of the word, like the B word, is intended towards women. So like, it's kind of shit that word is
Derogatory.
like it's shit that's derogatory because I like that because like you're kind of got this framing where like okay all women are this and then that becomes like this sort of thing that's bad to say. So like I agree with Wiggle a lot. I think that's like why I like the way that my dad did the thing with like I'm a jungle N-word and then you're this and that or whatever, right? Like he's like kind of breaking up the term and trying to make it all encompassing, and I think that's like kind of the key in terms of making this word less problematic. But at the end of the day, I think Wiggle's right. Like, I think there is something to be said. Like, nobody wants to be black, and that's like kind of shit. Like, I think like everybody, like folks who are using that word in a way because they don't want to be black and they want people to feel bad about being black. That's like the real actual problem. And I'm not really sure how to fix it, but like with time, right?
We have to
So
legislate it.
Prime, like
for
there it is.
me-
We have the panel. It was a good wrap up.
What-
We can call it a night.
No, I
Like
feel
Eagle's
kind
right.
of differently.
We came to
than y'all.
agreement.
Like,
I feel
I
a
think.
bit
Oh, sorry, go
differently.
ahead.
I don't.
I mean, I agree with
want
Wiggle.
this-
True.
I don't want this kumbaya where we're all using nigga in peace. Like, to me, there were hundreds of years where black people were called nigga and raped and killed and beat. And the idea that I'm gonna coexist in a world where white people are again just saying nigga with impunity is laughable. Like, I don't want some kumbaya where, oh, we've now gotten to the place where everybody can say nigga. That place won't exist while I'm around. Like, I don't. It's
mean-
nonsensical to me.
I'm weird. I'm just weird
I
that
was
the East
gonna
Coast
say-
gave
Like,
the Spanish pass.
wait, hold on. And my problem with things like this is, for some reason, and Prime, this has nothing to do with you. Like, this is just this story came up, but I'm using this to talk about something I was tweeting about the other day. But like, nobody on Twitch is like, hey, let's call trans people the T slur, or let's call other minorities whatever slur against them. It's always, yeah, we just want to use the N word. There's no advocation. I haven't seen a single Twitch panel where they said we should be able to call trans people the T slur. That doesn't exist. It doesn't happen because people look at that community and they have some sort of respect for them and they say, hey, I'm not going to use a slur that's inflammatory to them. It's only when it comes to black people that we have to have this fake ass kumbaya where white people can just be racist with impunity. Like, and I'm not going to be
I don't
here
agree
for
with
that
that.
shit.
Like last night, I was
Give us a
literally.
humor take.
I mean, last night I literally moderated a fucking thing where like some asshole was dropping like everything, right? Like N-word, T-word, all the different slurs, like just trying different things to see who they
Oh,
could piss
and,
off.
and
right?
you was in that conversation saying, hey, trans people, you should be okay with people using the T slur.
No, I was in that conversation getting evidence and then banning him from the whatever, right?
What? Wait, that's kind
but,
of
like-
everything you just said. Why don't you want them to be able to reclaim the word and live in kumbaya where
Well,
everybody calls
well,
trans people?
kumbaya isn't like today. When I said,
Oh my god, Django, you gotta mute yourself.
Oh shit!
Go ahead.
No,
Nylan.
he was.
I got hungry. It's a long panel. No,
It sounded like he was just more progressive than you, bro. He was
nah. I
trying to
mean,
reclaim
all
the
right.
T-slur.
Nah. The point is like
That-
the reclamation of a
doesn't
term.
happen.
The reclamation of a term takes time, generations, right? Like it's not going to be our generation. That's for damn sure. I agree. But like 10 generations down the line, it could happen. I could definitely see that. As low, like memories fade, people don't remember as much, and like hurt fades away, no matter how bad it is. Eventually, that's like time.
9/11
makes
is
things-
never forget.
somewhere.
Why are we always trying to forget?
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
sure.
wanna-
I'm sure 9/11 will be forgotten in like 1,000.
I want to
years.
log into Twitch, MatLat, and I want to see you having a panel with trans people about accepting the T slur in a few generations. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody have a honest, good faith conversation about it. It's nonsensical. It would
that?
never happen. It only happens when it comes to black people because we have to be the butt of somebody's jokes, and for some reason, some of us are okay with it, and it's terrible to me.
I think it's more common though that we use the N-word as a term for other people in a non-derogatory way, different from other types of
That's because
slurs.
we're farther along with our in-group reclaiming it.
Yeah,
doesn't-
but that's why I'm saying the conversation is more common around that word. That's probably
Is it?
why.
Is it actually like that, or is it even the fact that there's just a larger like it's a population thing, right? Like I would say that there's like more, like
Oh, sorry.
I
Turn on your
mean-
camera. Turn on your camera if you're talking, or the people won't know who's talking.
you want to watch me eating?
People,
I
people need to
mean-
know who's talking.
All right.
I could kind of be okay with it, I guess.
No, black people are.
I don't know.
think
I don't think it's a
I-
quantity
um,
thing. I think it's possible. I think it's just really that it's a more common word that's used again, like not as derogatory. Whereas like F slur and T slur are I've met some people who are either trans or who are just part of LGBT who will use these words as non-offensive, but it's very uncommon. Whereas the N
I don't
word's
think it is.
kind of a lot
All
more
right.
common.
I actually have a solution.
I
here.
don't,
I have
know.
a-
Test your luck. For me, like
All
I've
right.
experienced certain individuals like breaking down at the use of the word. So it's like for me, it's like I just don't want to see someone impacted that way. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to try my luck. I don't care that much for a word that I'd want to have the negative impact on someone, unless I wanted that, unless I wanted to hurt that person. Whereas with the N word, I don't know. Like I don't use the hard R in most of the time when I talk. And when I see people use it in jokes, I'm very weary of the people that they're joking with. I'm like, you know, it's always in my mind. It's always like, like you're dropping the hard R in a conversation with
Well,
these
I think I'm
specific
talking about
individuals.
both A or
Yeah.
I'm probably more A because ours coded a certain way, right?
Then
R
it's
is
very different,
dedicated
right?
to be
It's
used as a weapon towards black people.
Right.
it's pretty different then because it's like you know the big elephant in the room is like music, like one of the largest the progenitors of ideas and culture is music, and black people are in America specifically are owning the music business. They're doing excellent. So you're hearing this word all the time used in a positive manner all the time, and that's influencing how people think. They want to be like these content creators at the highest point. They want to drink the same products they do, wear the same things, say the
So,
same language.
The
We were just
music
talking
you're
about
referring
pushing T.
to, well, that music you're referring to also
Yeah.
uses all the slurs quite often, does it not?
But they
All
use
the
the
slurs?
N-word
Not as
very
much anymore,
particularly.
but sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
like,
use
in,
a
like
lot
in a
of
very
it
negative
for
way.
sure.
People only have the
I think
problem.
I think you
with
can
the
make
ones
it
that are
better.
dealing with
I don't know. Like music, it's not exclusive to what the door that we're knocking at. Like music has degraded all people across genres. It's not just exclusively in rap and hip hop.
But it's
Like,
about
it's a-
reclamation. It's about like
Sure.
music, specifically hip hop, has done something relatively unique from at least my understanding when it comes to reclaiming of the N-word. Like what other words have you seen in that at that level where they're reclaimed at such a high degree? Like people really want to say the N-word. I would say largely
I
because
mean,
of music.
there's a lot of ethnic slurs that lost their tint. Some of people don't even know they exist. Like I'm not gonna say them because the last time I got saying use a slur in context, I got in trouble. I promise.
Yeah.
I won't say it.
No,
So-
yeah,
Put
that's
Joe
real.
Rogan-
No.
put Joe Rogan
This
that
is
thing,
like
man.
anecdotal, and not even directly, but I have a friend who was Indian who says they have a word where it's like similar to the N word, and that when like if
They have the gesture
they
too.
say it to what?
There's a gesture with it too. When
Oh,
you're in
is
when you're
it?
in spaces, like so when you're in spaces like I am, when you
Yeah,
do
an expert.
Bollywood weddings, and then like you're the only black person there, and they do the same gesture over and over when they see me as a DJ, and then you ask like, "What is that?" And it's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And it's like, "Okay, but no, keep going." I know.
Yeah, but there's a word that they have for like it's like if an outsider were to use it, it's like really really bad. But like if you're like Indian and stuff, they like use this word to each other. And but other than that, like there's not very many words that have like been reclaimed in that way. And I would also like to say, I think like one of the big differences with the N word is like like nigga is used in like every hip hop song, not every hip hop, but a lot of hip hop songs, a lot of rap songs. Whereas like words like the T slur and the F slur, like I don't even think these like or maybe on like Twitch these are bad, but I'm pretty like when I go into like the real world and talk to like either like my conservative friends or just like my normal like people friends who aren't really political and stuff like that. A
Conservatives
lot
can
of
be
these people
normal. What
still
the
use
fuck?
these words. Like
because they don't treat them as slurs. That's like the big
Yeah.
thing. Like
yeah,
it
I don't
depend-
know.
And one of the I think the problem is that like we've kind of accepted that like certain words, specifically like sort of the big three of slurs, the N word, the F word, and the R word, are like the three that are just like beyond reproach. And the R word's still taking time. But I don't know, just like there's no other word in society right now that has as much power as the N word with an R. I mean, I'm still the camp where we legislate it. Just I think South Africa is knocking on the right door with crime and injuria, but
Also,
we like free speech, and we don't treat these things as criminal offenses. So like hate speech is still a civil offense. So it's like
you might probably be surprised. I don't know your friends, but you probably be surprised about what words they say. Well, you're not around as well. Like they use these other words, and like, oh, when Top's not around, it might be another word to come out.
I don't think I have any friends who use like hard R or anything like that. But
Well, it might not be hard art, but like you know, when they're rapping in the car
I'm rapping
on that
in the car.
beat.
I just don't hang around those types of people generally. But I do have friends who like use like slurs and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, most of my I know what most of my friends think about black people, but what concerns me largely is what they think about people of certain like gender identities and like women. Because like on Long Island, that seems to be like the problem at this point in time is like black people, you have it bad, but Long Islanders seem to love black culture. They want to steal it every chance they can, but they're still extremely like homophobic and God forbid, you know, you want to talk about anything beyond that, beyond just being gay. And then they're like really rude towards like women.
Racist.
Hmm?
You think they're more homophobic or misogynistic than racist?
No, I think that like the individuals here, it's weird. It's like there's a love of black people, and then there's also this treatment of black people in a negative way that is
Well, the
unseen.
love of
I don't
black
know about a
culture,
love of
maybe.
black people. Maybe
Yeah,
we're
that's a love
I'm
of
confused.
black
starting to
culture.
think. I'm
I see it like most like if you're in a white community in on Long Island and you're black, people flock to you. They want to be your friend. They want to know everything about you. They want to
Right.
know about your life, and they expect you to be a certain way. It's
Are
like
they typically
it's
married?
positive racism, huh?
Are they typically married?
No,
I
no.
guess.
But they're like
I'm
they're
also the camp of,
positively
like,
racist.
I'm somewhere where I just think like in a lot of communities, just black people are kind of tolerated, and there's like different levels of tolerance. Some communities are better than others, but by and large, it's like you kind of see where people like really like start splitting hairs when they start like doing things that would like demonstrably help not only black people but like other people from racialized groups. Um, like you see it in police reform. You see it in, you see it when it comes to conflict in other countries. Um, it's kind of fucked.
Um,
Again, I'm for legislating Yammer, by the way. Make like
you're
go to
for
the next level.
legislating
Make
it.
it a criminal. Like was that? Yeah, I'm totally fine with the way South Africa's doing it. I think in America we'd probably have a lot more offenses, where that if you use a word specifically to demean someone's dignity and it's racialized, it should be a crime. Period.
You know, I would in a perfect world be okay with this. At this point in time, I think like, you know, if we can't even pass like the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, I don't want to inflame racial tension to the point where it's like they're not going to look at anything else. The first thing I think is like we got to push the
P.
part of this racialized narrative about police um, uh, enough to the side where you can get white people to hate police again because police in this country have like a ridiculous amount of power, and then at that point in time, bring back some of this like the racial talk about it and try to push some legislation. I think
I
you start
think
talking about this other stuff, they'll start talking about CRT in schools again, and
Yeah.
you know you have to bring them
Again,
back.
Yeah, because to be
Well,
fair,
Joe, how do you
obviously,
feel about this? How do you feel about this?
Sure.
Would you legislate against the N word, or would you just decriminalize responses to it?
I would make it a crime if you diminish someone's dignity and it's like under reasonable assumption. If it's reasonable to assume that you use language to demean someone's character and you can reasonably assume that it's racialized, that should be a criminal offense.
A criminal, or I think I
Criminal
just want
offense.
to clarify because I
Criminal
thought earlier
offense.
you said civil. So
Criminal offense. No, I said
Criminal.
hate speech is a civil offense.
I
I
hate
would make
speech.
this a criminal offense.
So I'm fine. I'm not a free speech absolutist. I've made similar artists. I'm sorry, excuse me. Similar arguments in the past. But I guess the counter would be, all right. Well, are you specifically saying, well, the N word? That's one thing.
All slurs.
All slurs. Okay, right.
If
then
it's reasonable to assume,
but that will
if
be
it's reasonable to
used
assume-
against black people, right? That'll be used by white people against black people.
Which is why I said if it's reasonable to assume that the word was used to diminish someone's dignity, then it should be a crime.
I mean, we
Or,
have
I-
we
now
have
it's
people
diminishing
losing their
that
minds
dignity.
over CRT, right? We have it's thinking that like this is destroying.
We're talking. You can, and there's more to legislation. You can even make parameters. You can even make parameters of certain words where the line is crossed regardless. I think if you were to make legislation like that, obviously the N word would be in there. Obviously, probably a few of the ethnic slurs that are used within certain communities would probably exist within there. But you'd obviously need, like, if we're talking about from a legislative standpoint, right? You would need like ACLU involved, other civil rights lawyers involved, because I'm sure if you brought enough people in the room, they could come up with legislation that people would agree with on that. And like, if white people really think that they're going to be upset and like, oh, like, is going to be exclusive to the white people, then you better make goddamn sure you have a seat at the table and not fucking fight it.
I think what will
Because it's
happen
the
is
same-
you will just have like Republicans block this and then say that Democrats are like trying to control your speech, and then they'll
Yeah,
they'll
I'm cool with
reframe
that.
this and
State
they'll
level.
frame this as like this is like Russia and China the enemy, and look at what they're doing. They're trying to like limit your speech, and
Okay.
it will win because we already
It'll win
lost.
federally. It probably won't win at the state level.
But
That's easily something.
we already lost the battle when it comes to like masks mandates and stuff. Seems like the country's in a position of like a higher level of like free speech, a higher level of like harm caused. They're
Sure.
okay with
And,
harm.
and granted too, like I'll yield that contextually speaking, like obviously South Africa has a different reckoning with race currently, and it's much closer to them than I would say for most Americans. So obviously that context should be recognized.
Yeah, for me it's just I think like there at this point in time, I've given up on trying to fight against a tide where there's like a racial divide where like I'm gonna lose. Right now, I want to secure the things that I still have. I can look across the aisle and still see that there's like a mutual interest. I think like for me that would be police. It's like white. There's white individuals, and even when I say reaching across the aisle, I'm largely meaning the right, like the
Sure.
right of America. They're getting more angry with like law enforcement, and I want to hone that in. I don't want law enforcement to further encroach onto the right wing of America and set their feet in and claim this as their party. And I want to remind
I
the right
would
wing that they're not your allies, and they look at how they treat black people. Look at how they're going to treat you. Look at us as the example. Look at us and see what they're going to do to you in 15 years. And then with that in mind, let's fight this problem together, create some change.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that for sure. Like, granted, you can definitely make the argument that racial slurs disproportionately affect racialized people in America. There's still in a lot of areas not a lot of racialized people, so a lot of like areas are going to be alienated. But you can't really do that alienation with law enforcement, where like overwhelmingly and a vast majority of areas, rural all the way to suburban to your cities, you have police going above and beyond where they should. So I'm with you on that.